What are these charts? You know, what do they represent? Hey, you know what? Right now, we're in 2008. That's right. We've got numbers that are 2008 numbers. Those charts represent the home sales and also the mortgage rates, okay? Now, if we're in 2008 numbers, why doesn't it feel like that when I go to buy a house is what you're asking. I've got another chart that's going to answer that and show you why. But also, before I get to that, I'm going to be covering all this too tonight. I'm going to be looking at what is the current of active listings. That's going to be our inventory. How many sold in the last 7 days? How many homes are under contract? How many new homes sold in the last 7 days? What is the current active new homes listing? That's their inventory. How many active listings are in foreclosure status? How did people pay for these homes? What percentage of homes sold under list, at list, and above list? And much, much more. Hey, my name's Tom Kerr, and I'm just a regular guy who happens to be a real estate agent up here in North Florida in this Jacksonville metro area. And every week for over 2 years, I bring you the best market update as to what's going on because I show you the real numbers in real estate. And if these real numbers show that we're at 2008 levels, I'm going to show it, okay? But what we're going to cover tonight is we look back into my MLS account. That's right. Since I'm a real estate agent, I do have the MLS account, and I share that with you. We go back into that account, look at it, and then I share all these numbers for you. So let's start off right now with those active listings in this episode of Bubble Watch. All right, here we are in the back end of the Northeast Florida MLS, and that is the largest MLS board here up in Northeast Florida, and that's the member that I belong to. So we're going to start off with those active listings, which is going to be our inventory. Now, what I want you to do is focus on this part right here that says View Results, because as I click on these different statuses, it's going to populate with the current results right there, and then that's what we're going to be using. So we're starting off with the active, 9,509. Okay, next we're going to look and see how many sold in the last 7 days. That number is 468. And now what we do is I go over here to the side, and I'm going to export it. Okay, now when I export it, what it's going to do, it's going to give me a lot more information than what we're seeing here, and then that's what I'm going to transfer into my Excel spreadsheets. Okay, the next thing we want to see is how many are active under contract. This number is 1,256. Okay, now these are people that are under contract with contingencies, and those contingencies can be financing, can be appraisals, could be repairs, could be having to sell another house, all sorts of things. After that contingency passes, they go into the next status, which is pending. So here we had 355 went pending in the last 7 days, and when you add that up with the active under contract, now you have your total under contract. Next, we're going to see how many people withdrew their listings in the last 7 days. That number is 80. And those people are still active listings. They've just withdrawn it for various reasons. Could be repairs, could be someone was sick. Sometimes it's a foreclosure issue. They need to extend the foreclosure notice or date so that they could sell the house. That happens too. Okay, next here we look at expired, and the expired is 175. Okay, that is the ones that did not sell, and they are no longer active listings. Where versus the withdrawn, they're still an active listing, they just can't be shown. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is look and see how many new homes sold in the last 7 days. That number is 100. And next we're going to take a look and see what the new home inventory is. That would be their active listings, and that is 2,264. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is look and see how many are in the foreclosure status, okay? And then what I look at is foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, and short sales. So these are of the ones that are active listings right now, that's your inventory, that are in these statuses, okay? So first we're looking at foreclosure status. That number is 201. Next we're going to take a look at pre-foreclosures. That number is 17, and next we're going to look at short sales. That number is 33. Okay, out of all this data that I exported to, we're also going to be able to pull the condo information, and I'll have that information separately for you too here later on in the show. All right, now all that data I take that we exported goes into an Excel spreadsheet that looks kind of like this, and that's just hard to read. It's hard on the eye. So what I do is I take all that data, I take even more data than what I just showed you right there going through the MLS, because when I export it, it pulls out a lot more information, and I put it into my own Excel sheet that looks more like this, makes it easier to look at, and we're able to follow the other weeks. That's right. While all those numbers are crunching right now and doing everything, let's see what those interest rates have done this last week. Okay, as we can see here, looking at the 30-year fixed, each one of these charts, we're going to start off here at the bottom where we see last week we were at 6.63, and the arrows on the right here show, as red arrows up, green arrows down, what happened during the week as things fluctuated. So we see a little bit of a mix, and then we end up at 6.58. So overall, we are down on the conventional 30-year. Let's check out the FHA because they are generally less. Okay, the FHA rates here was at 6.17 last week. Same green arrows and red arrow mixture to where we tried to hit, at 6. We got pretty close to 6, but then whoops, just wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Brought it up here, and now we ended up at 6.12, but that is still less than last week's. And here we look at the VA rates, and last week they were at 6.2. Same mixture of green and red arrows, and we ended up at 6.14. So again, this also followed the trend. It did go down over last week's. All right, now let's go ahead and put it into those Excel spreadsheets that I was telling you about. And first of all, you notice I'm out on location in front of another house. That's right. Every week when I do this show, I do it out on location at the site of a new home. That's right. And this here is a standalone new home. And you're going to want to see this one on Sunday night because it's got things that I was surprised at. All right, here we are into the Excel spreadsheets of mine. And for those of you that are new to the show, and we get a lot every week, just want to show you how this is done, and it's very simple to follow. As you can see here, the yellow column right here, this one here is week 14. This is our season 3, week 14 right now. This is the current what we're doing. Now, right next to it is, in the white column, is the year before when I had the data, because I keep everything in the Excel spreadsheet, so it's the same data that I collected back a year ago. Then the YOY shows the year-over-year percentage of change. And then over here, SFH, okay, this is week 14 of this, I pulled just the single-family home data out of the total that's in the yellow column and just show those individually here. Now the previous columns you see are week 13s, okay, here in the yellow and the blue. And actually, go back, you can see I've been doing this, collecting this data all the way back to week 1 there was in May of 2022, and that's when everything started going down the toilet with the interest rates rising, and everyone said we were falling off the cliff and it was going to be 2008 all over again. So that's when I started the show to keep up on all this stuff. All right, so let's get going. Here we are, week 14, and active listings is 9,509. So it has come back up, okay? It was going down, so now it did go up some. Solds in the last week, 468, that's up from last week's 400. Okay, active under contract, 1,256, that is down. Pending, 355, that is down. So our total under contract is 1,611, and that is down from last week's. Okay, withdrawals are 80. Expireds were 175, and new homes sold almost doubled, okay, to 100. Last week it was a dismal 52. This week 100, so they definitely rebounded a lot better than the other homes. Okay, new homes that are active inventory, 2264. That's dropped from last week, and we would expect that since the sales increased so much. Okay, in the orange here, this is the percentage of homes sold that are new. So we are over 21% of all the homes sold were new homes, okay? And so that is definitely over the last week here an increase. All right, let's look at single family homes. Okay, the active 7,071. Okay, so that is up. Okay, sold 374. That's up. 995, that is down. Those are active under contract. 281 is the pending, and the pending of the single family is actually up. So the total under contract is 1276, which still is overall down from last week. Withdrawals were 54, expires 120. New homes sold more than doubled to 84 from a dismal 40 last week. And new homes active, the inventory is 1,747, which brings us to the percentage of single family homes sold that are new, 22.46, so it's a little bit higher. All right, we're going to just take a quick look at the condo right here. And you see in this right here, these are the active condos. Right now, 1,108, so that is down from last week's. The condos sold 41, matched last week's. So the percentage of actives that are condos is continuing to drop, is 11.65%. Okay, how did people pay for these homes? All right, 28.85% cash, so that is up. That's a pretty healthy amount, but we've seen it in the past weeks up around that. Conventional dropped slightly to 39.32, FHA 16.03, VA 13.25, others jumped up to over 2.5%. Okay, remember we were told that the foreclosures was going to be a big deal by now. Actually, we were told in January the dam was going to break. Well, I haven't seen that in these numbers. Foreclosures 201. Now this is out of active listings. These are the ones that are statused as foreclosures and active listings for sale. 201 foreclosures, 17 pre-foreclosures, 33 short sales for a total of 251. Okay, so that number really did drop quite a bit from last week, and it continues to fall. This is where we look at the percentage of homes that sold under list, at list, and above list. So we can see that over 75% sold under list price, almost 15% sold at list, and the ones that sold above list, almost 10%. Now again, I've mentioned this before, the ones that sold above list, don't get too worked up about that number there being almost 10%, because that does include some small above lists. You can have some that, are, $500, $600, $700, $800 or $1,000. Okay, so it's not a lot. They're almost right there at list. The one to look is the one under list, and we've seen that one there staying up in the 70s. Okay, in this chart here, we break down, we look at the price categories of the homes, okay, sold. So here we look at homes that were at $500,000 and above. So we see that over 27% did. So that's a drop from the last couple of weeks, or actually more weeks than a couple back. So we've seen a drop there. Homes that sold in the 400 range, okay, just under 14. Homes that sold in the 300 range, okay, 23.5. Homes that sold in the 200 range, okay, that has increased, so it's 22.86. And homes that sold below 200, also we had an increase to 12.39. All right, over here, the column on the right, we show how many new homes sold in those price categories. As you can see, 500 and above was 33, in the 400s was 11, 33s was 300, 23s was 200, and none below 200. So the sweet spot there, I mean, they actually tied, is the 300s and above 500. Okay, next I take a look at the new homes sold and how many sold under list, at list, and above list. And we see here new homes that sold under list, 66%. So that is a little bit of an increase from last week, but stays along with what we've seen the last few weeks. Homes that sold at list, up a little bit to 18. Homes that sold above list at 16, so that did drop. Hey, if you like the way I put this show together, I'm not talking about the numbers. If you don't like the number, I'm talking about if you like the way I put this show together, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to be part of this Bubba Watch Nation and subscribe to my channel, I've got a lot more videos on there than just the market updates if you're interested in those. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do right now is go into what is called MLS Advantage. And that's where I take all the MLS boards that are up here and we put them together and look at the sold numbers for that. See, because there's a lot of smaller boards. That information that I just gave you was from the Northeast Florida MLS, which is the largest board up here, so it has the most data. But these other smaller boards, you know, they still sell homes too, so we want to include that and give you a bigger picture of what's really going on up here in Northeast Florida as far as the sold numbers go. And I also break it down by county. I'm going to show you how many sold in the individual counties overall when I use all these other MLS boards. Some people care about Duval County only. Some people only want to know about Flagler. Some just want to know about St. John's. I'm going to show you all 9 counties up here. Some people say there's 7. I say there's 9 to this Jacksonville Metro, and I'm going to show it to you after we do this MLS Advantage. All right, here we are in MLS Advantage, and we're going to look here at the 9 counties: Baker, Bradford, Clay, Duval, Flagler, Nassau, Putnam, St. John's, and Union. So we go over here and we hit the search button, and that brings us to 655 properties. All right, here we put it into the chart, by county, where we split it up, and we got Baker has 1, Union had 0, Bradford had 2, Clay had 70, Nassau came in with 51, so they were less than last week. Duval 245, a pretty good jump up. St. John's 172, Flagler had a good jump, 98, and Putnam 16. That brings us a total of 655 under MLS Advantage. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go through the condominiums because there's some people out there that are interested in these condos. So I've been keeping track of this, and we're on week 24 of the condominiums, and you can see that it's in the yellow here, and then you see the previous weeks before that. Okay, so here we are. Active listings for the condos 1,108, so that is down. Sold 41, still the same. It's kind of weird how that worked out. We had 2 44s in a row, now we have 2 41s in a row. Active under contract 124, down a little bit. Pending down quite a bit from last week to 10. Total under contract 134, so it is a pretty good drop of the amount that are under contract. Withdrawals rose to 18. Expireds rose a little bit to 35. No new condos sold. 8 new condos active. I don't know what happened to the other 2 because they didn't report them as sold. How do people pay for these condominiums? All right, well, cash is always a big one with condos, okay? 63.41%, and that's because lenders have this thing that it doesn't matter about you, it matters about your neighbors. And if the rest of the people in there, they got a certain percentage that they go by, they got a benchmark. And if a certain percentage are behind on their HOA payments, you know, or taxes or things like that, then they will not finance anyone in that condominium complex. So that's why you see cash kind of high. This week we had conventional at 36.59, but no FHA, no VA, and no other. Over on the right, you can see, well, that isn't correct. There we go. And you can see the ones, how it worked out. 26 of them were cash and 15 were conventional. Okay, for the foreclosures, now these are, again, same as the others. These are the active listings that are in foreclosure status. 24 foreclosures, 0 pre-foreclosures, and 1 short sale, so our total's 25, so that's down a couple from last week. Okay, with condos that sold under list, at list, and above list. Now this number is always higher, and it's this week it's actually pretty high for the condos that sold under list, 92.68%. Condos that sold at list dropped a lot. Okay, and we actually had 2 that sold above list, okay? And over on the side, you see how that worked out. 38 under list, 1 at list, and 2 above. Next, we look at the price range for the condominiums. Ones that sold for 500 and above, okay, dropped 14.63. Condos that sold in the 400s also dropped 7.32. Condos that sold in the 300s, okay, dropped, okay, also. All right, condos that sold in the 200s, okay, remained actually exactly the same. That's weird how that did, but that did. Condos that sold below 200, a big jump, okay? So what's happening is probably these condos that were in the 200s now are selling below 200 now. And over here on the right, you see how it worked out. 500 above, 400 was 3, in the 300s 5, 11 in the 200s, and 16 below 200. Okay, these are the new, nothing new to report with the new, so we move on. Okay, here I look at the stories, the amount of condos that's sold at these particular stories of, now this isn't of the actual individual unit, this is of the complex, okay? Because of that law, when they're 3 stories or above, they're gonna be required to have the funding to make the repairs as needed for this, and this is going to jack up a lot of people's HOA fees. So we kind of just for grins keeping track to see if it makes a difference. I haven't really seen a big effect of this, but I'm just keeping track just in case we see a pattern or a change, okay? We watch it just like Bubble Watch. We're watching, we're taking a watch, okay? So 5 of them were 1 stories, 18 were 2 stories, 12 were 3 stories, 2 were 4, 1 was 5, 1 was 10, 1 was 11, and 1 was 14 stories. Now, because they go by the age of the condos, 25 years around the coast, 30 years inland, so we look at the age of these condos, okay? And let me see if I can make this look a little bit easier by putting the borders. There we go. All right, now this here, these are the stories on the side, and these are individual units. So one of 1982 was built in 1982 as a 1-story. The next one was built in well, there's 2 of them that were 1973s at 1 story, and so on. So I'm just going to scroll down, and you can stop this as your leisure to see. Okay, what counties were these condos sold in? Clay County had 3, Duval had 26, St. John's had 10, Nassau had 2. So it worked out pretty close to what they were last week. Now this one here, shows the original price of the condo, what it sold for, and the difference, how much less. These are the ones that sold under list price, and you can see the difference over there on the right. So I'm just going to scroll this also, and then you can stop it as you please. Okay, these Excel spreadsheets that I have here that I showed the condos and then the regular ones are all available for download. The exact sheets I use on this show, you can download if you're a subscriber to my newsletter. It has a link to download this in that newsletter. It also has links to the houses of the week, to the MLS sheets of the houses that I show here on the show of the night. Plus it has other things that are not real estate related also, just, you know, homeowners tips and stuff and events that are going on up here in North Florida for that week or the next week. So if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, just send an email to this email here. Tell me you want to be on the newsletter, and it comes out every Tuesday. Only missed 1 Tuesday out of all this time because I had a problem with the system that actually puts the newsletters, that sends them out. But we're back on track. All right, we still got a lot more to cover here tonight. Okay, we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg. Starting to get a little windy out here though now, so I don't know if you hear the breeze or not in the mic that's picking it up. We're gonna look at those graphs, okay, that I was showing you at the beginning. I'm also gonna show you that one graph there that also is why we're not in a crash situation, all right? And, you know, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about what's going on because all the big changes come into real estate this weekend, and then also we've got those houses of the week coming up, all right? I get a lot of people calling me all the time about these numbers, and I'm gonna get to all that. So let's go right now to those graphs. All right, here we're gonna look at these graphs, and I'm telling you, you gotta stay with me on this, okay? I got a lot of information here to show you, and I'm actually adding to something else that I just thought about, some information for those of you that are waiting for the half price sale. So here, let's take a look, okay? The first one here we're looking at is interest rates. As you can see right here, here we are where the rates are on August 15th here, the week ending here on Thursday. We're at, this is the 30-year fix, 6.49%, okay? Keep that in mind, 6.49, all right? Here we ended, okay, now we look at 2008, August 14th, 2008, okay? Same time, 6.52, all right? This is what I'm saying. We are in 2008 numbers right now here, okay? The interest rates, the same as 2008, okay, when things started really getting bad, okay? Now, Look at this, December of 2008. Okay, we're not in December yet, but they went down to 5.1. Okay, and we know what happened. I mean, housing, was really, a mess. Okay, this was it. I mean, I understand it was a 2-year period there, but this is when the crash was occurring. Okay, everyone was jumping off the top stories of the homes. All right, now let's look at the next chart. Existing home sales. Okay, where are we at right now? Now these are annualized rates. Okay. Is what these go by. Okay, so here we are, right here in June. Okay, they just go back to June because they are delayed. So June, 3.89 thousands, which is 3.89 million. Okay, so less than 4 million. Okay, look at where we were here. Okay, over 4 million just in February, and look how fast our sales have gone down. All right. They've dropped tremendously. Okay, look in June of 2008, okay, when everything, where were we at? 4 million, okay? So we are at these numbers, okay? 4 million. We are at 2008 crash numbers, okay? If you look here in 2005, when things were just ridiculous, look at that, 7 million, okay, adjusted. This big drop and down to 4 million, okay? So we are in basically the 2008, okay, houses actually were worse than June of 2008 right now. We are worse than that. The interest rates are about the same. So why aren't we feeling it like the crash of 2008? Why isn't there that feeling? Okay, let's look at this next chart. Here's our inventory, okay? We've been seeing the inventory go up. Now look at this. This is over the course of this last year. All right, back here, right there, June, okay, was our inventory. And you see it was going up. All of a sudden, man, it dropped, okay? Dropped in December, nothing. Now it's been going up. And I know a lot of people have been cheering that the inventory is going up, okay? But like I've always said, yes, we've had an increase in inventory, but that doesn't mean you have an increase in quality of homes being sold. I've seen a lot that really need a lot of work. So, that's part of it. People seeing a house, that sells for $400,000 or $500,000, don't really want, they want something turnkey. They don't want to walk into it, and start having to put 50 grand in repairs. This is part of the problem. But let's get back to the inventory. So we see our inventories going up, okay, overall. Now, remember again, all these charts are national numbers, okay, because you see in mine where the inventory fluctuates up and down, okay, in Jacksonville. All right, but this is national numbers, okay. So the inventory has been going up. And you see these numbers here are for June also, okay? June, okay, numbers. We don't have July's and all that. All right, look where I'm at here on this chart. June of 2008. Look at the inventory, okay? Look at where we're at now, right here, okay? So, do you see the discrepancy, okay? I've been telling you, it's a supply and demand thing, okay? It's no matter what, the situation is with the rates and this and that, it's a supply and demand. Look at the supply we had in 2008 this time, and look at the supply we've got now. Even though we've had this increase, look at this mountain we've got to climb. This is why your prices are what they are. Now I want to throw in a chart that's really, eye-pop. I was actually surprised when I saw this chart. Okay, this here is the national sales price of existing homes, all right? And now we're looking at, okay, let's look at the single family price right here, the one in the middle, okay? Now, you're looking here a year ago, June of 2023, was $415,700, okay? Everyone's saying, hold off, the prices are coming down. Well, yeah, they were. Look at that, 411, 200, in July, August, 410, 200. All right. Look, in January of this year, they hit 382,900. And people are saying, oh, the half price sale is coming. Don't worry, the blue light special's just around the corner. Well, February said something different. Oh, it started going up. March, up more. Holy crap, April, we went over 400 again, okay? May, 422, and June, 432. All right, so as a buyer, what are you gonna do? All right, are you still waiting for that half price sale? Or is it already too late for some of you? Or is it still coming? I don't know. This is a big inventory hill to climb. When are we getting there? And what would get us there is massive foreclosures happening, okay? Right now, we're not seeing that, okay? Now, doesn't mean it. And you know, I show the real numbers, so it's like if they happen, I'll be showing them. But right now, this is what I'm seeing, and this is why I don't see a crash in home prices. We've got a crash in sales, but we don't have it in home prices. You know, I've been saying it for the longest time. It's supply and demand, and especially in Florida, when you've got a net gain of 1,000 people a day in the state, okay, the population is increasing by 1,000 a day. It's just going to happen. Yeah, I understand the inventory's gone up some from what it was, you know, earlier, you know, this year, a couple of years ago, but still, when you look at those charts, now you really get the picture why we don't feel the crash, okay? We've got to get to that point. All right, now something else that's important. We're going to get to the houses of the week, you know, right after this, but the big changes are this weekend, and in fact, today our MLS made some big changes too, where the compensation is not shown for what gets paid to the realtors. This is more important than ever that you have the right real estate agent. I don't care if you're selling a house or you're buying a house. It doesn't matter. You need to have the right real estate agent. I understand, especially sellers. Most of the sellers, when they sell the house, they say, I got a great real estate agent. Yeah, I deal with real estate agents all the time, so I'm telling you. And if you're not sure, put me in the mix, okay? I mean, you know, interview a few people, okay, to look at it says, but put me in the mix and then compare us to see who is going to be the best fit for you buying or selling. It's going to make a big difference. And I just want to let you know too, even though my home territory is in Northeast Florida, okay, I help people throughout the whole state because I can help you with writing a contract and everything now, even if you want to buy in South Florida, Tampa, or Orlando, or one of those other areas along the coast. And you're really going to need that good agent to help you with the buying thing. There's a lot of fake news out there, a lot of it. Even a lot of realtors are believing the fake news. They don't even know. I've just gone through 20 hours or more of seminars, webinars, in-person things with attorneys, with other people in this business to find out what's going on. Up here in Northeast Florida, our contracts changed even, and if you got an agent that doesn't understand the new contracts that we're using, then you're gonna have a problem, okay? I can't emphasize it enough. Make sure you have the right real estate agent going forward because all these changes happen this weekend. All right. Let's go now to the houses of the week, and that's where I show a house that sold above list, one that sold below list, a condos also, if we got a condo that sold above list, and then I show you what the prices were, what they paid for them, the appreciation value, and the price per square foot for those. So let's go to those right now. All right, here we are. We're starting off with the house of the week. We're looking at the house that sold below list price. Okay, this house here, built in 1951, 2,089 square feet in Nassau County. This one's actually on Fernandina Beach, which is a very nice place to live. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Okay, let's see what the history is. Okay, now on all these, when I do the history, at the bottom is what they started the price at. You'll see as the prices change, On the left, it tells what happened, what events happened. This one you see there were some open houses. And over on the right is the days on the market. And at the top is what it sold for. So this one started out at $780,000. Okay, they lowered the price rather quickly. Okay, right there, 11 days they started, and then they even brought it down below 700 in about a little over a month. Had some open houses. I guess after that open house, maybe they picked somebody or somebody just decided to put in the offer. But when they brought it down to 695, they got an offer for 665 after 40 days on the market, and they took it. Okay, what did these people pay for it? Well, they paid for it $180,000 back in October of 2010. All right, we put it into an appreciation calculator, and they had it there for almost 14 years and got almost 10% appreciation, okay, which is really good. Took advantage of the 2021 stuff. Didn't seem to affect them much with what's been adjusting lately. So that just shows you that even 665 is high, okay? But remember last week I said it's a buyer's market always, because it's what the buyers are willing to pay, and the buyers are willing to pay this. It was, to them, that was a value for them, so that's what they were going to pay for it. Even though we see that first price was really out of whack. Okay, next we're going to look at a house that sold above list price. Built in 2024, yes, it is a new home. 2,346 square feet, good size home. It's in Duval County. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. Okay, this one here started out at $551,500. Okay, now this is a great example for those that want to play the game and try to get the lowest price. All right, started out $551,500. Now, it was on the market for a long time, so no telling at what point of construction this one went on. Could have been when they first designed it, could have been when they poured the pad, before the walls went, who knows. That's why a lot of people don't buy them right then when they go on the market like that. See, they had 11 days before they upped the price to $599,000, $350,000. Then they brought it into the 600s, okay? Then they dropped it back down again, below 600. And again, okay, at that time, at 243 days on the market, they got an offer for $578,000, okay? Now, when they got that offer, they had changed the price to $589,999. Okay, so the people that bought it are sitting there beating their chests saying, yep, we got a good deal, we got it down. But had they when this first went on the market, it was $551,500. Okay, they could have bought it for that. But a lot of people are thinking that, like, these builders are stuck with this inventory, they're going to cut the prices, there's going to be a blue light special coming. Now, that is the case in some. It depends on the neighborhood, and also which model home that they're selling. Some models sell better than others. The ones that are more popular, in more popular neighborhood, you're not seeing the price cuts. You're actually seeing, in this case, you're paying more. All right, well, since it's a new home, we're not going to do an appreciation calculator, but let's go back to the main page. And we look at the price per square foot, and on this one it was $246 a square foot. I forgot to do the square foot on the other, so let's go back and look at the other. Okay, the first one that sold below, the price per square foot was $318 a square foot. Now remember, that's on Fernandina Beach, so the homes are more pricier there. All right, let's take a look at the condo that sold below list price. Okay, built in 1998. Okay, 1,393 square feet. It's a one-story condo itself, but the complex is only 2 stories, so it doesn't fall into that 3-story condo mess, okay? This one here is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, so it's a good-sized condo. And let's take a look at the what they got their monthly fees are. Okay, the monthly fees on this are $540, okay? Those things can always go up. I mean, that's still quite a bit, annually when you add that on top of the taxes, it's still pretty good. But That can jump at any time. Now this one here, they said they had like $44,000 in upgrades in this condo. So let's take a look at the history. See, they started out at $343, okay? They lowered the price a little bit, a few times. When they got the price down to $299,900, below that $300, they got an offer for $292, and they took it. So it was on the market for 243 days. Okay, this one here, when we look at the square footage, sold for $209 a square foot. So what did they pay for it? They paid for this $260,000 back in October of 2021, okay? So they were buying it when the price of stuff was going up, all right? Let's put it into an appreciation calculator. And you can see they had it just under 3 years and got an appreciation of 4%, just over 4%, which is a little bit lower than normal, but considering the condo situation and the market and everything, that they paid a higher price then, and it's a little bit lower now, even though some, as we've seen, prices have been going up on things. Still, the condos are different right now. Okay, so I think they did good by getting out with this. You know, I'm hoping that every week these numbers and these examples and everything helps you in the decision on what to do. You know, there's a lot of people thinking like, all right, should I wait? But you know, what's going to happen when you wait? You know, is it going to be beneficial or not? You got to figure it out. I can't tell you what to do, but I can give you the real numbers and show you to help you in making that decision. And then, like I said, just give me a call if you have anything real estate related you want to talk about, or if you want to talk about the show, that's fine. Hey, this is week 14 of Bubble Watch, and it is in the can, and next week is 15, and until then, I'm out of here.